my name is Wendy Reed and I teach high school math, and we're going to learn a little bit more about special right triangles today. We discussed the 45, 45, 90 already, and we're going to talk about a 30, 60, 90 triangle today. Of course, a 30, 60, 90 right triangle is a triangle that has a 30-degree angle, a 60-degree angle, and a 90-degree angle. Okay? You have three different things. First, your hypotenuse. It's always across from the right angle. Now we have what we call a shorter leg and a longer leg. Okay? And it's the opposite of what you would think. You would think that the longer leg would be next to the 60 and the shorter leg would be next to the 30, but it's actually the opposite. The reason is the shorter leg is shorter and the longer leg is longer, so the shorter leg is actually next to the 60-degree angle and the longer leg is next to the 30-degree angle. So we have our longer leg, our shorter leg, and our hypotenuse. So always remember, shorter leg's next to the 60, longer leg next to the 30. Now, if you have one side, you can always find the other two using two formulas. Your hypotenuse is equal to 2 times the shorter leg, or your longer leg is equal to the shorter leg times the square root of 3. So as long as you have one, you can find the other two using the formulas. So let's start with the shorter leg. Let's say we know our shorter leg is 5 meters. It's always easier when you start with the shorter leg, so we'll start there first. If my shorter leg is 5 meters, you can use both formulas and it doesn't matter which order because the shorter leg is in both formulas. Okay, so I'll just start with the easy one. So h is equal to 2 times the shorter leg. I know what my shorter leg is, so I plug it in for the SL. So h is equal to 2 times 5, which is 10 meters. Pretty easy. There's our hypotenuse. Okay, then we use the other one. The longer leg is equal to the shorter leg times the square root of 3. I know my shorter leg, so I'll plug it in. 5 times the square root of 3 meters. And there's my longer leg. Okay? Always easy when you start with the shorter leg, but it gets harder when you start with the hypotenuse and the longer leg. So for example, I'm going to erase this. Let's say we know the hypotenuse, but we don't know the other two. I'll erase this. This is my shorter leg. My hypotenuse, let's say it's 15. Okay, 15 meters. Now, it does matter which formula you start with, because do you see an h in this formula? No. So we cannot start with that formula. We have to start with the h formula. So we use it. H is equal to 2 times the shorter leg. I know what my h is, so I'll plug it where the h is. 15 is equal to 2 times the shorter leg. Now again, when you need to solve for a particular letter, like shorter leg here, you need to do the opposite of what's being done. It's 2 times the shorter leg. The opposite of multiplication is division, so I divide by 2. What that does is the 2's cancel out. I just have a shorter leg over here. 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. So I get my shorter leg is 7.5 meters. That's pretty easy. Then we have to go back and plug it into the other formula. The longer leg is equal to the shorter leg, which is, well, let me go right for it. The shorter leg times the square root of 3. My shorter leg is 7.5. So we do the longer leg is equal to 7.5 times the square root of 3 meters. Now, again, if you want that in decimal form, you would need to do 7.5 times the square root of 3 in the calculator. So that's starting with the hypotenuse. The third way is if you had the longer leg first, and it's typically the hardest. So let's start over. Let's say we know what the longer leg is. And the longer leg is 10 inches. Okay? Now, this is the longer leg, so we know we have to start with the longer leg formula. There's no LL up here, so we start with this one. The longer leg is the shorter leg times the square root of 3. I know what my longer leg is. It's 10. So 10 is equal to the shorter leg times the square root of 3. Now again, we need to simplify for this. That's the shorter leg times the square root of 3, so we need to divide. by the square root of 3. Okay? Over here, they cancel out. And we get the shorter leg is equal to 10 divided by the square root of 3. Now, as we learned in our last video, you can't leave a radical in the denominator, so what we have to do is rationalize. So you get 10 divided by the square root of 3. We look at our denominator, it is the square root of 3. So we have to multiply by the square root of 3 over the square root of 3. And we get 10 times the square root of 3 is 10 square root of 3 divided by, take the number out of the radical, 3. And you really can't simplify that any further, so we just need our units, and that would be inches. And that is what our shorter leg is. But we haven't found the hypotenuse, so we have to plug it into this formula now. So we get h is equal to 2 times the shorter leg. My shorter leg is that long thing over there. So we get 2 times 10 times the square root of 3 over 3. You're thinking that's probably a lot and it looks hard to multiply, but it's really not. All you have to do is multiply the 2 times the 10. You don't have to worry about the other stuff except for writing it down. So we get h is equal to 2 times 10 is 20 times the square root of 3 over 3 inches. Now, you do need to look and make sure you can't simplify that, and 20 divided by 3 is not a whole number, so you can't simplify that. And that's your hypotenuse. If you want it in decimal form, you'd have to put all that in the calculator. And that's how